All right, well, we're going to get started. There's going to be some more folks filtering in, but I do want to thank you for being here. And I want to introduce, if you don't know, our digital marketing director, Cassia Spurlock. Cassia, I want to say hello.
Hello. Hi there.
And then Mr. Jacob Bonds, who is our digital marketing manager.
Hey,
We got to
everyone.
get a couple of logistics out of the way. Today's presentation is being recorded. Everyone is going to be on mute during the course of the presentation, but if you have any questions, just put it in the chat or raise your hand and we'll unmute you, and we can make this as interactive as you want. There will be some additional time for questions at the end. And with that, we'll get the logistics stuff out of the way. And I hope you're here today because you want your marketing muscle to get stronger. Competition is growing. It's getting more sophisticated. People's tastes and preferences are becoming certainly more discerning. Staffing, as we're all experiencing, doesn't really matter what the industry is, government, private, academic, is a battle. A lot of change has happened, and our marketing needs to change with the times. So we're going to dive, deep, into the changes that are going on, but also try and keep this stuff simple because we're businesses without huge marketing departments, without huge marketing budgets. We have to make this practicable. We have to make it understandable. So some of the key questions that we're going to dive into today and attempt to address is how much muscle. When you're thinking about this, is what types of muscle are needed, and are we in right relationship with buyers, time, process, and outcomes as we're thinking about marketing and how it serves the business. So I want to clarify for this, we want to be helpful to you whether you're doing anything with us or not. Marketing is no small challenge in an organization. But beyond, providing some education, I want to have a little fun. I want to get some exercise in. So let's jump in and get started. Many of you on the call today are IT clients, and you know us as First Call Computer Solutions. I'm Connor Smith. I'm the CEO of First Call Computer Solutions. We've worked with our clients and a lot of wonderful people at First Call over the years in pursuit of providing world-class IT services right here in Montana. When we started, we were 3 people. Today, we're over 50. And I posted this question there on the screen of what does an IT guy have to offer on the marketing front? So I want to kind of dispel any myths that are out there. I am not an IT guy. I'm a business guy. 20 plus years of First Call. I've never so much as set up a PC for a client. I do like technology, but I like business a lot more. And I actually have several different businesses, and the long story short on that is I've stuck my head in the door of entrepreneurship for 20 plus years. Sometimes that door has slammed down on my head. I've stepped in the proverbial poo in nearly every aspect of business. It's been a great journey. And while I do have a pretty good sized mistake pile, I've also had some breakthroughs. Marketing is one of the toughest nuts to crack in any business. And we'll talk a little bit more about why that is. But part of it is there's really no other function in your business where a high failure to success ratio is somewhat normal. We've got Scott Allred on the line who runs an accounting service. So, it's not like in Scott's world where he's doing bookkeeping and payroll and accounts payable and receivable and budgets and financials, where he can fail to deliver, 90% of the time and have a 10% success rate. People want to be paid every time correctly, billed every time correctly. And whether you're thinking about accounting or how you service a customer or how you deliver a product, there's really nothing else that quite fits the ratio of success and failure like marketing does. I am super passionate about helping people today with marketing for one really simple reason. And I've been there in my businesses. Businesses with good marketing, or sorry, businesses without good marketing have limited choices. And it's not why any of us got into business, is to limit our choices. A business with limited choices is not a good business to be in. It actually takes people's freedom away versus giving them more of it. So let's get into this and see if we can help you become better at marketing in 2023 and beyond. All right, we've got two fundamental questions I want to get out of the way. And we're going to use something that we probably are somewhat familiar with in life. Those two questions are, is why do we need effective marketing, and what does effective marketing have to do with more choices? So many of you may have a treadmill at home, or you might have bought some other kind of exercise equipment at home. And the question I want everybody to think about is what problem are people trying to solve when they buy a treadmill? The obvious answer is, they're trying to walk more, they're trying to run more, they're trying to get in better shape. And the thing I would throw at everybody is that really the reason why people buy the treadmill? Is that really the problem that they're trying to solve? And then also ask the question of, a person can't solve that without buying a $2,000 machine. If we really think about the problems that people are trying to solve when they do a purchase like this, it might change how we market to those folks. Our jobs as marketers is to market our solution as a solution to their real problem. So let's just run through some things. People might buy a treadmill in part just to feel like they've done something, right? They may actually never use that treadmill, use that piece of exercise equipment, but they bought it simply because it does make them feel better. And that's the problem, that they might be trying to solve. They might also purchase it simply because they're uncomfortable exercising in front of other people. It may, they don't want to be in a gym. They don't even want to be out in their neighborhood where they can be seen. And that's a different type of problem, that can be marketed to. The point that I'm trying to make is when people make a decision, they might be trying to solve a different type of problem than you're marketing to. And the more that we can understand as marketers what the problem is that they're really trying to solve, the better off we're going to be at. So bottom line is, we need marketing to reach people with problems and help them see what we have to offer as a solution. We need marketing to help them gain the confidence to try and buy. We need marketing to enhance their customer experience and to encourage them to buy again or even refer us. Let's use another example to try and get our brains, moving in the direction of what's the problem people are really trying to solve, and are we marketing ourselves as a solution to that? So we've all seen job postings online in the physical world that look kind of like this. And we know as people involved with our businesses that we need good employees who fit our culture and have the skills we need to make our businesses successful. But as you look at these common types of things, is any of this effective marketing? So let's start with that one in the top left of, are you awesome? If somebody's awesome, they probably don't have a problem that they need solving. The next one, help wanted. That solves your problem, not theirs. We're hiring, join our team. question I would have on that is why? What is the team going to do for me? What problem does that solve for me? People need jobs so they have satisfying work to do and money to use in their lives. But when it comes to employment, people have lots of problems, especially in this economy. This economy is not a situation where people's problem is I don't have a job and I need one. That's not the problem. There's too many jobs and not enough people to serve them. So really, why are people shifting and moving around? It's not because they're unemployed. It's because maybe their problem is they're underemployed, or they're overworked, or they're undervalued, or they're overscheduled, or they're underutilized, or they don't like the people that they work with, or they don't like the culture that they're in. Those are the problems people are trying to solve in today's workforce economy. And so, again, if we go back to those basic things of what do we need marketing to do relative to our staffing, is we need to attract people with those kinds of problems, and we need to speak to our company, our organization, our employment as a solution to those. If the people that are involved aren't being valued, you have to simply, Cassie, looks like there's somebody got to admit, you have to speak, to how your organization solves that problem. If they're overworked, you have to speak to how your organization solves that problem. So I hope that makes sense for folks. Let's tie this back to choices. Company A over on the left doesn't reach enough customers, workforce with the right problems, doesn't clearly communicate how they solve the problem, doesn't effectively drive tries and buys from the people with the problems, doesn't effectively drive good experiences from the ones that do buy, and struggles to get repeat or referral business. Whereas company B over on the right does reach enough customers and workforce with the right problems, does a good job of clearly communicating how they solve the problem, does effectively drive tries and buys with people with the problems, does effectively drive good experiences from the folks that do buy or do become employed, and consistently gets repeat or referral business. So up on the right, we've got the gal. She looks real happy. She looks real confident there in her blazer. She also has the eagle landing on the shoulder. The eagle represents a lot more freedom. So you can again kind of see that marketing has a big impact. And if we understand people's problems and we speak to them, we're going to be a lot more effective in the journey. So let's move on to some trivia time. What do we got to do in marketing? We got to reach people with problems and help them see what we have to offer as a solution. We have to help them gain the confidence to try and buy. We have to enhance their customer experience and encourage them to buy again and even refer us. We've got to give ourselves more choices and freedom in business and in life. So one of my big, frustrations, is trying to define, what is effective marketing over the course of, my business life. And one thing to understand is certainly marketing is not new. The discipline has been around a very long time. The principles, the desired outcome, et cetera, really have not changed all that much. We forget the principles and focus very much on our needs and trying to solve those versus our customers. But again, it's been around a long time and a very professional, established discipline. But it is important to understand that things have changed. And the simple way to convey this is to help you understand is what has changed the most. And the answer to that is how people buy. It's a much more lengthy journey involving a variety of different things, both in terms of changes in technology, smartphones, social media, the websites, email marketing, physical, even though a lot of this is talking around digital marketing, the bottom line is that non-digital marketing is a very effective set of channels as well. And in many cases is seeing a resurgence. So this presentation is not so much, advocating one or the other, but to help you understand that how people buy has changed a lot. And it's really important to recognize this. And as we keep our definition of marketing really simple. So let's just start off with what our job is in marketing. I've hit on this, but it's to help people with problems that we are good at solving get to know us, get to like us, and get to trust us. If we think about Facebook as an example right now, many people know Facebook, but they're certainly struggling with like and trust. And so they're going through major rebranding efforts, trying to address that. We're not Facebook. We don't have budgets like Facebook. I don't want to stay in the enterprise market, but the challenge is the same to a small business. We need to help people with problems that we're good at solving, get to know us, like us, and trust us. That has to lead to some sort of sale. Tries and buys. Let's take a job applicant. If we're trying to get people with certain kinds of employment problems to know us, like us, and trust us, the try stage would be applying, for that position, reaching out to us, inquiring, setting up an interview, learning more about us, deciding more around, is this a place that I want to work? Okay. Effective marketing has to make trials and transactions more likely with less risk or trepidation about that decision being made. Many of us stop there as we think about effective marketing, but I want to make sure that people take it to the next level. We need to think beyond the sale, and we need to think to service. And we need to think about having marketing impact repeat business and referral business. Effective marketing really should accomplish all of that at a cost-effective rate. As you look at all of that, I hope that makes sense. I hope that simplifies what we're really trying to do within our marketing function. And this is, while it is simple, it doesn't mean that it's the easiest thing to get done in your work. All right, so this is the point of the presentation where we got to get serious. We got to get some exercise done. I want to make you think through some things. Time to do the hard work. Go to the gym. Build our marketing muscles. So I got this hot sweatshirt on. I gotta get more comfortable here. One second. Probably caught that my fitness body's not quite as good as my marketing body here, but we'll get going. All right. So KLT exercises. KLT stands for Know, Like, Trust. Jacob, Cassie, I are all wearing that. We truly believe that that's what you've got to focus on in marketing. It requires good form. It requires setting a strategy, establishing a plan, working the plan, doing the little things right consistently over time. And when you look at the majority of small businesses, there's a tremendous amount of bad form in their approach to marketing. So these exercises is to help you reflect on yourself, what you're doing within your organization relative to marketing, and try to improve that form as time goes on. All right, so KLT exercise number 1. We've got Mr. Bonds taking a journey up through some steps. I'm not sure that's the proper use of that equipment, Jacob, but it's a good visual. So we do have to start at the beginning. We've got to get our steps in. Step 1 is to take a look at your muscles today. What are you doing digitally and non-digitally, and how does that line up against best practices? What gaps do you see? Step 2 is, in the world of business, whether you're competing for employees or you're competing for customers, you really have to look at where your direct competition is at. You cannot do this in a vacuum. Step 3, where are we going? What kinds of customers do we really want? What are their key problems? How do we solve them? How are we going to market to them, sell to them, service them in a way that where they become part of your marketing engine? Step 4, how are we going to get there? What actions do we need to take month by month? What quick wins can we get versus what are the longer term things we need to do to build maturity and traction? Step 5, how do we want to be perceived? How do we look? How do we sound? What's our core message? What's the real problem we're solving for our clients? Is it, hey, we're selling treadmills? Or are we really looking at what problems are they trying to solve? How do we look? What elements will set the right mood? What elements are going to create like and trust? How are we going to move them into the try and buy stage? Step 6, you got to build your foundation of stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff to build in the world of marketing, and you can't build it all at once. But your website, social media channels, Google My Business, there's a lot of different things, and you'll see more what you need to be focused on when you're also looking at what is the competition doing, and when you're leveraging those to drive the right perception. Step 7, use your foundation to reach the right people at the right places at the right time. I want everybody to forget about marketing for just a second. And let's not be mindful of marketing, but of our bodies. And we'll correlate these two, right? Exercise number 1, KLT exercise number 1, is not about the 7 steps that I just outlined. It's really about understanding that building your marketing muscle is a process. It takes time. There aren't a lot of shortcuts. This is not to say there aren't some quick wins along the way. There are. But of the failures that I've had in marketing in my business career, and I'm going to tie this again back to the old body here, they're really similar to the failures that I've had in my fitness. Anytime I've tried to sprint my way to fitness, I simply get winded. When I try to skip key steps in the process or I dismiss planning, I simply got frustrated or disheartened. Marketing fitness is built over time, just like your physical fitness. Improvements are really made incrementally. You got to plan the work the plan, follow the process. And if you're going to see the results, you will see the results if you stick with it. All right, let's move on to KLT exercise number 2. All right, A's, B's, and C's. This, I want you all to think about your business right now. And you can think about it both in terms of marketing to grow your staffing, as well as marketing to grow your customer base. I want you to think about your clients in terms of who are your best clients, who are good clients, and who are just okay clients, right? Your A's, B's, and C's. Who do you really want to attract more of? What's the problem that the A's are trying to really solve versus the C's are trying to resolve? And is your marketing speaking to how you solve the problems for the A's, the B's, or the C's? Is your dollar being spent on reaching A's and B's clearly, how you solve the problems that they have? Have you got that very clear in your mind? Again, I've been in business for a long time, and I've gone through various types of changes and challenges and maturity and growth. But this is a super important lesson that I've learned, is that the business becomes much more fun, much more rewarding, much more life-giving when you're consistently attracting the right types of customers to serve with the right kind of problems that you're really designed to help solve. And same thing with staffing. When you're attracting the right kind of people into your organization, who you're going to serve well, and they're going to serve you well and your clients well, it makes the business a lot more fun. So exercise number 2 is always to really think about your A's and B's. Who are those people? Maybe you can put a name to them. Maybe you can put a face to them. Why are they a good client? What is it about them and their problems that you're very well suited to serve? Why do they do business with you? Why would they do more business with you? Are there more people like them? If your marketing is not designed to and directed towards the A's and the B's, or even worse, it's maybe not clear at all who you're intended to serve, you're always going to struggle with this notion of building your marketing muscle. All right, let's move off of exercise number 2 and on to number 3, which ties into what I was just talking about. When you think about, the MBA term for this is business buyer personas. And you're thinking about not only who they are, but also how do they buy. So, what's their problem they're trying to solve? What emotional state are they in? What's their makeup, their pain point, their priorities? How are they defining success? What barriers do they typically see in doing business with an organization or a product or service like yours? What's their decision-making criteria? And I really like this question of what emotional state do they want to end up in? If you really take some time to think about the people that you work with and get this clearer and clearer to yourself, and this does not have to be complicated. This does not have to be, a 5-page breakdown of who these people are and demographics and psychographics and all of those, marketing terms. It's just really understanding who are those A's and B's and what their general makeup is. If you know your A's and B's and you better understand their problems and what their general journey is to an organization like yours, then you can just do a simple exercise of how am I going to get these people to know me, and literally break it down on a sheet of paper, right? What are the digital marketing things I should do just to make them know me, right? What are the non-digital marketing things that I need to do? It is some exercise involved with this. And you can't do, everything at once, but what are the things, that make sense today? You can play the same thing on the like front. What are those things that I need to do to help those people like me? What are those things I need to do digitally and non-digitally on the like front? I know this seems really elementary, at an elementary level, but this really is what we have to get good at in our businesses, is getting people to know us, then getting people to like us, and there should be one more slide in here of getting people to trust us. And you just have to kick that question back to yourself. Do you do business when you need a product or a service with people that you don't know, don't like, don't trust? Or do you do business with people that you do know, you do like, and you do trust? Are you an A and a B type of customer? Are you a good fit with them? Do they solve your problems well? How do you make your way to those types of decisions as you think back through some of your purchases, whether either as a business, or as a consumer? Once you've got clarity, on this, you can just begin to map out your strategy and map out your tactics. I think oftentimes we get confused about digital and non-digital marketing and what we should do or what we shouldn't do. And the reality is you want to do the things that are going to be effective. And if you think about what you are doing that's effective, and if you really understand what your competitors are doing, and you think about your buyer, what problem are they trying to solve, and what channels are they using to get to know, like, and trust, both digitally and non-digitally, you can begin to answer these questions logically. Don't get confused on digital and non-digital. It's pretty simple. They have to work together towards the same goals. You would think in my two businesses, which are very technology based, IT services and digital marketing services, that we would market almost exclusively digitally. You would be wrong. We do a lot of non-digital work. We do a lot of digital work, and we are trying always to tie those things together. And even though they're different instruments, they've got to be playing the same song. Different organizations are in different stages with their marketing, and there's a graphic coming up that might be helpful to you on this. But maybe there's a lot of things that are working, but you have some tactical problems that you'd like to get resolved within the digital space. You're at a different stage maybe than somebody that, a lot of it just does not seem to be working, or I haven't done any kind of formal investment in this. I haven't really thought about differentiation with competitors and growth targets and all of these things on the right. Those are more strategic things that really have to get planned for and addressed. And oftentimes, right, we have all of the above. We're constantly working on improving our strategy as well as improving our tactics. But as you begin to seek out services, be clear in your mind about where are you, what are you trying to solve, and how can somebody, help you. This is my simple checklist of, does my organization have effective marketing, digital marketing? So number one, are you clear on the real problems you're solving for your customers and your clients? Is digital marketing reaching people with those problems and helping them see how you solve and address them? Is marketing help them gain confidence to try and buy? Is marketing enhancing their customer experience and encouraging them to buy again or even refer us? On referrals, that doesn't always necessarily mean like in the business to business world where I like my accountant, so I refer somebody else I know in business to my accountant. A referral might be a Google review. A referral might be a testimonial. A referral might be a like on social media on a post that I've made. There's many forms of referrals, but they are still the best type of marketing. And so when we think about it, we want to think about that with the end in mind. Is digital marketing reaching the right fit people with work problems and offering our employment as a solution? Is it helping them gain the confidence to try and apply? Is marketing enhancing their employment experience, encouraging them to stay, and maybe referring us to other people just like them who might like to work here? Is our strategy helping you build the right kind of know, like, trust? And are your tactics helping you build the right kind of know, like, trust? I want you to really kind of look at this. And I'm going to break it down from the left to the right. This is a very busy slide, but this is generally your marketing muscle journey. Way over on the left, you've got the nose. And what I mean by that is you have to take time to really smell what you're doing, what's working, what's not working. You've got to look at yourself, your business, your marketing, your customers, and assess all of the different things. If you're thinking about it from a digital standpoint, you want to smell your website, your customers or your competitors' websites. You want to smell your social media, your competitors' social media, their SEO, your SEO. There's many different things that need the smell test. So oftentimes when we start with this stuff, we're thinking, I want to buy, I don't like my website, or I don't like my social media, or I don't like my SEO, so I want to solve that. It's not about what you like. It's about really looking at this stuff against mature standard marketing principles, both digital and non, to truly assess where you're at and truly assess where your competitors are at. The next stage is once you know where you're at and your competitors are at, you can begin to lay out a strategy of how you're going to reach these A's and B's types of customers, how you're going to get them to know you, like you, and trust you. Once you've got your strategy set, you can lay out more of a tactical game plan and even a schedule that says when over the next 90 days or the next year are these different types of marketing events and marketing campaigns going to happen. Once you've got your strategy and your plan and your schedule, you can start to, you really need to stop and think about how are you going to be perceived. In marketing, we talk a lot about branding. It's how we look, how we sound, what images are we putting out, both in the digital world and the physical world. And is that creating like? Is that creating trust as we engage both with potential customers and potential employees? It's very important to get this stuff right because you can spend a lot of money in the next stage of building all of this stuff and putting it out in the market. But if you're sending out the wrong brand, the wrong perception, you can actually be doing yourself harm versus good. The next stage is you've got your, you know what you're doing, you know what your competitors are doing, you got a strategy, you got a plan, you got a brand. Now you have to build all of the foundational elements. In the digital world, that would be things like your website, your Google My Business listing, your social media presence. If you're going to be doing email marketing, you know, a CRM type technology associated with that. But you've got to get all of your digital properties, the foundation set for them. And I'm here to tell you, when you follow those first 4 milestones, you enter what I call the confidence zone. Many of you are probably on this today because you're not feeling terribly confident about your marketing plan, your marketing brand, your marketing foundation. You've got to get that stuff set so you enter what I call the confidence zone before you start doing other things. In general, depending on where you're at, and it can be different for every business, that's about a 6-month journey to really get to that place where you and your team and your company feel that you are confident. That doesn't mean there aren't quick wins along the way to help solve some of your immediate business problems, but that's the destination you want to get to. Once you're in the confidence zone, you can begin to do different types of outreach, different types of campaigns off of that foundation. And that's going to move you from confidence to, hey, we're actually doing real marketing as a small business. And I know business owners that have been in business 10 years, 15 years, that largely have operated off of, referrals, walk by business, et cetera, that never get to this stage. The problem is if you don't get to the marketing zone, it's hard to get to the freedom zone where you're now driving predictable tries, predictable buys, predictable retention, predictable referrals. And when that starts to happen in your business, you really begin to enter, what I call the freedom zone. Marketing zone might take you 1 year, depending where you're at. Realistically, freedom zone might be a 3-year journey. As simple as marketing concepts are, it takes time to build the engine. It takes discipline, it takes behavior, it takes teamwork, it takes resources, et cetera. But I hope that makes sense. Let's tie this back to fitness. We've all seen these before and after pictures as people start their fitness journey. What do you look like in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months? The list goes on there. And we know what happens in fitness a lot is we want it in our mind, but we're not willing to put in the time. We're not willing to follow the process. We're not willing to set our strategy, our plan, both in terms of fitness and diet and all of the things that we need to do. And so oftentimes what happens is we do the stuff that feels good, right? Oh, I bought a treadmill. Oh, I was up late eating chips and I saw the Thigh Master on TV, so I bought that. We've all seen the shake weight. That thing sold a bunch. Bottom line is if you really want to hit that before and after, you want to do it in milestones so you don't feel like you're having to wait 3 years to see results. It's realistic to see results in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, but the results you see along the way are measured, disciplined, incremental as you go. But if you stick with it, you're going to have a good aftershot. So hope that makes sense. All right, we are going to quit me blabbing at you and open up to Q&A. We can talk staffing challenges and marketing there, business challenges, any questions that came up. Again, you can raise your hand or throw something in the chat and we can unmute you and go from there. From a time frame standpoint, we've got about 10 minutes for Q&A if people want to engage, and I'm happy to talk anything and all things marketing, so feel free to throw out a question. Oh, come on, somebody. You don't want to be too shy here. Bonnie, you're on. Bonnie is with Double Arrow Resort, beautiful place up in Seeley Lake, Montana. Bonnie, anything on your end? As you think about either staffing and trying to attract folks up into Seeley, to new types of customers, any shares you might have on who might be an A, B, or a C type client? Doesn't look like I'm going to drag it out of her.
Bob's got one.
Okay.
You unmute him?
Sure. Bob, you there?
I had to unmute my own mic.
So okay, there you go.
Unmuted now. Okay.
So Connor, I'd be interested in, the marketing where you said, know, like trust. I've run into situations a couple times in my career where I get to the trust and things are going well, and then there's, I guess, a misperception and a breach of trust.
Hmm.
What strategies do you have, or have you ever run into it, or to get that trust back? Because it's really, really hard in my view.
Right. So part of that is making sure as you engage with people, that qualifying process. Do they need what you have? Do they want what you have? Can they afford what you have? Because oftentimes we don't make that clearer in some of the process, and so then it becomes a surprise for people. They're expecting one thing, and then they get another, and then that leads, potentially to that trust gap. So Bob, I know you do a lot of networking, a lot of engagement, with different HR, professionals that are out there. And I know that that's, much more of a direct type of approach and outreach, and it takes time to build that, just like you're saying, it takes time to build that trust. So that would be my main advice to you is are you helping them understand what problem you solve? And is that matching up with their problem? And where is that potentially uh, creating some disconnect that's like, whoa, this is not what I thought. From a trust rebuilding standpoint, certain things that you can do is you've got a lot of history with success in your field. People that you've worked with that are just like the people that you want to be working with. And so if you can share references, case studies, referrals, testimonials, Google reviews, social media shares, all kinds of those types of things, that can reestablish like, hey, Bob really can help me, and he's helped people with problems just like me.
Justice has her hand up.
Hey, Justice, go ahead.
Hey Connor, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, you bet.
I had a so when you are doing your marketing, are you just marketing in one vertical, or are you just kind of like on a blitz towards all verticals? Do you think it's better to concentrate with one vertical at a time, just go to that, or two verticals at a
Yeah.
time? What do you suggest with that?
So Justice is an IT in an IT service provider organization, just like First Call IT. So Justice, can you remind me where you're out of again?
Las Vegas, Nevada, with Agility
Yeah,
Tech IT.
Vegas, right. So the answer to your question, Justice, is you should be able to look at your business development plan and schedule, right? So maybe there's different conferences of different industries that you're going to be attending over the course of the year. Maybe one's in October, one's in May, one's in February. So when those conferences are coming near, right, you would become much more targeted, right? Who are the people that are going to be at that conference that you need to get to know? They need to like you. They're going to trust you. How are you going to do that? How is digital going to help with that? How is traditional outreach, phone calls, emails, going to the conference, having a booth, all of those types of things going to create know, like, and trust. So when you think about your plan for the year and where you're going to be and what industries are you going to be working in based off of their schedule, that allows you to become targeted at the right time. Also, you're going to want to look at your existing customer base. What industries do you already serve very well? Let's say you do hospitality because you're in Vegas and you do that well. You can create content online that really tells that story, that shows you and your organization as I know these organizations, I know the software tools that they need, I know what their business demands are. We have lots of trust information that shows we're an authority within their industry. What kinds of things do they want to engage with, right? Because a legal industry group versus a hospitality industry group, you know, are going to have kind of two different ways to interact. So those are the things you do. In general, you want to be targeted on the industries you want to focus on, because there's a lot of relationship building and trust building that has to happen before they're going to agree to move IT services over. You know, the other thing where you want to be more general is the type of customer that's in pain right now and they simply need help. Maybe they've had a cybersecurity incident and they're online searching because they need help now. Those are the places where you can be more generalized. So hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Any other pop-ups there? All right. Appreciate those questions. And you can always follow up with us directly. We'll have some contact information here at the end. Marketing might require that you've got a spotter, someone to help you. You know, First Call can do what we call a done-for-you marketing strategy, where we're really doing a lot of the work and providing that for you as a service. We can also work with you in a done-with-you type of strategy. If you've got anybody on staff, whether that's the owner or a marketing assistant or even a marketing manager, we partner with those folks to help round out, you know, all of the various marketing things that they might be trying to get done, especially in the digital world. Where do you start? As I mentioned, if you've been in business for a while, the most important place to start is kind of that smell test. We call it a TOPA, or a total online presence audit. We're trying to really look at you and everything that you're doing digitally online, your website, your content, search engine optimization, your social channels, your what's called the directories and citations that are online, Google reviews. We're looking not only at you, but as we mentioned, we also want to look at your direct competitors and what they're doing in those exact same spaces. It's very important to understand that, because if you're going to compete online, you have to have a good understanding of what is it going to take to either be on par or ahead of the competition. That plan typically takes 2 weeks. Cost of that is around $1,600. We're giving a discount for anybody that's an existing First Call IT client. It's this stage way over here on the left, okay? There might be folks on this call that already have a good handle on that and are trying to then broaden, you know, their strategy or their channels, or you know, they're trying to implement, you know, new elements of their foundation. You know, we can engage you on that as well. But this is the general journey, whether you're working with us or somebody else, that we would really encourage that you take and change your mentality. If you're thinking about it, you know, in the physical fitness of I'm going to get fit and it's going to be, you know, 4 weeks of really hard work. It's just not that way. Marketing is a long-term commitment to building the muscle, building the engine, maintaining it and optimizing it, getting confident in what you're doing, really doing it, and then having it really serve, you know, the business and its challenges. So I think we're just about out of time. You know, First Call, part of what we do is make marketing better. And we do that not for marketing's sake, but to make your business, your hiring, your customer acquisition better as well. And if you're at all lost in it, I hope this presentation gave you some good exercises that you can work on. And whether you do anything with us or not, you know, can help you move from where you are to where you want to be. You know, that core thing of there is no one giant step, not in physical fitness, not in marketing fitness either. Put a good team around you. We'd love it to be us. focus on your strategy and all of those types of things first, and then you can chunk it out, you know, one milestone at a time. On the bottom right, you can see our web address, firstcallweb.com. You can connect with us on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And then most of you got my email address as well, as I've been sending some email blasts out to you, so don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. All right, with that, we are just a little bit before our end time. I appreciate everybody attending and that taking the time to be with us today. I hope it had some good value to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Connor.